thing with Tai Chi is it is a martial art. Was a martial art to the Imperial Guard of the Forbidden City. That's why we've heard of it. In the 1920s and 30s, when China started pushing programs to rebuild the health of their people, which had been destroyed as a result of the Opium Wars, a couple of guys, Fu Jianchuan and Yang Chenpu, particularly pushed Tai Chi as a tremendous health exercise. It worked better than the other martial arts that got famous today. But from its inception in the mid-1800s until then, it was a martial art. It is a martial art. The difference between Tai Chi and Qigong is Tai Chi, every single move has a martial application from the get-go. Starting with your commencement. Even the commencement has a martial application. Now you can do it single hand off a punch, you can do it off those Shaolin double punches, but the easiest way to see it is off what I like to refer to as the old Frankenstein strangle. Which, amazingly enough, people actually do when they get angry and lose it.
Yeah, they do.
So, if Keenan goes to do the Frankenstein strangle, there's your commencement.
That was commencement.
Just like middle school, Tina. Just like middle school.
Nothing drinking.
What happens is, I came up under her elbows. My hands came slightly over. I did not push out. If she was strong, pushing in. Even with King, that would be difficult. I just come over and then I sink my weight. Commencement. From commencement, you go to guard. The thing with being absolutely correct in the guard is that it is just that. That is a position for Wu style Tai Chi. It'd be this for Bagua, this for Xingyi, this for boxing. It is the guard position. Do your guard position.
Weight in the back.
Feet in the back.
Weight in the back.
Toes up.
Toe up.
Okay.
He's afraid of being hit.
Thumb to nose.
Hits everything.
Elbows slightly down. Now, if you get it exactly right, and this is why you want it exactly right, it does what all good internal guard positions does. It triangulates the attack, which means don't move your head at all. If she's got the right place, that one misses, and that one misses. It triangulates the attack. So, there's your next move, your guard position and what it does. From that guard position, the next thing you do is you go into a press, which means Keenan punches. Now, see, when you do applications,
You have to hit him.
this is what you don't do.
That's your
You
chance.
stop here. If she does that,
Your only chance.
you have to be close enough to reach the person.
Oh, okay.
So I do guard, and then I do press.
Good. You're not out of window. Excellent.
Okay.
I know he's.
You're off. You're off the hook.
No fun now. He says.
No, you want to? Okay, Cliff.
You use the throw around.
Would want that embedded in you.
No, it's
Thing with the press is that you're coming in and you're closing this down and all this stuff with your internal power. What you're doing is at the last moment, you're shifting your weight, you're expanding your joints, you're extending your joints, and if you know how to do it, you're doing a little springing in the spine. Well, this press, it all happens in here. So even to minimize it completely, you still get. When you start putting a few more of the aspects into it, you get press. When you make your turn, one more? Okay.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
You don't mind, right?
Notice I did the oxbow stance. The whole thing of this oxbow stance is it helps facilitate short-range power. That's why Wu style does the oxbow stance as opposed to the upright stance of Yang style. Yang style uses more long-range techniques, and the oxbow stance facilitates short-range power. Now, when you go from when you go into your right guard and you pivot it, not yet. You pivot and you turn, and you pivot and you turn your hands over and you come to guard, and then you press again. That's because I'm just getting right range.
So the punch when you turn.
He goes to punch. There's my first pivot. Then I set, and he can punch again, and then I press. From there, the thing with Wu style small range is your ward off is extremely tiny. This move is ward off. Like in Yang style, ward off is usually
You popped it 30 years.
but
Yeah.
this is ward off. And roll back. Again, close range. I'm in here, he's managed to absorb it, and he throws a hook. For the side, I'm going to do ward off in the form.
I apologize.
So he throws a hook and I ward off. The idea is though I want to ward off and roll back without any impact per se. Ward off, roll back. Where to continue, press again. Ward off, roll back, press. Single hand push comes off from that is he hooks again, and there's your single hand push. Opening for single whip. Part you don't see, or as personally I prefer, guarded out. Okay. That's your, actually gives you this strike with a poke afterwards. And there's your basic ward off, roll back, press, push. First move is single whip. Single whip also gives you, with this side, which, by the way, is also the same thing that your cloud hands is doing.
Parry.
We came back to the other side. Cloud hands. A lot of your techniques have multiple applications. Single whip is one of the major ones. Waist high kick.
Front snap or
Okay.
Yeah, you
Anything-
guys move. Can you guys
anything
move a
is-
little bit to this side? There's a little bit, yeah.
Anything waist. Also single whip. One of my favorite applications in Tai Chi is brush knee twist step, which also has multiple applications. Off a body punch, brush knee twist step.
nice.
Off a waist high kick, let's see if I pick this up a little more.
Boom.
Brush knee twist step. Everything has application. Your kicks are even fairly close range. What would happen is, though, if he punches with that hand, around, I come in, I lift, kick.
And get the guy behind you at the same time.
Conceivable. So they're just sort of general rundown, basic idea of applications. So before I go, anybody got anything else they'd like to see the application of particularly?
Say it again.
So I punched to the center of the comic.
But, yeah.
And he went out, yeah. And then he did the chop down.
Bob, come on, try it.
I'm gonna
Snake reached down. Oh God! Here, he's gonna be banging my head on the wall, on the floor. So.
I think it's bouncy.
No, he's not.
It's bouncy.
Snake hooks out?
Snake hooks out.
Talk about that.
I don't remember the attack, but I just know the answer.
Just swing over the top.
This hand or this hand?
That's really bad.
Well, let's do this hand then.
His face is here.
I told you.
We didn't believe it when you told us.
You want to see?
You notice how I do my snake creeps down? It's just like that because that's how I learned it.
Oh, so that one.
Yeah, into
Yeah.
So this,
I see Bob's coming.
when you come over with this kind of punch and you're doing this, how does that?
Okay.
They're different things. When you come over with this, that was terrific.
So then here, this.
That stuff is all just your punching.
Oh yes. And then the difference between the step
Believe me, huh?
and the step through.
Depends on which way his energy's going. He's coming forward, you step back. He's trying to pull back, you step forward.
So after J Maiden, when we come out like this, what's that?
That's it.
I mean,
Very simple
yeah.
strike. That's illegal. That's illegal.
That's also how you deal with these guys trying to do a double leg takedown. They're coming in here.
This is
So you're going on top of it, so I'm going to go here.
Here, and up to this one.
Yes. He knows me. We've done
Something.
we've done
Something like that. Yeah.
So he knows me. He knows me. We're going like people are crazy. You know.
Yes.
So that's you're taking them out, man. All right. I got another question.
Don't you let you off the hook early?
Yeah, she thanked me for not having.
All right.
Texas in front of you anymore.
What's your old Josh?
July 20th,
Or any of the
2014.
rest of that crap?
I will let you.
So fan through back.
Arms.
Punch.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. All right, so that is to the side. Yes.
And easy.
To the side.
Catch a punch, move it past, put it one right into it.
That's cool.
They run right.
And hard style as well.
A parry and a palm strike.
Oh, the parry.
Yes. Parry and a palm strike. I'm trying to do ones that aren't real obvious. You know. Embrace, tire, and return. Coming out. Well, let's okay. Here. Here. Obvious. This. Yeah. Is that just a?
This.
first stance.
Well,
That can
as
be
press down, the same thing, so
Okay.
coming in low.
All right.
And then when you turn, you stay there. You've got the option of
Oh, yes. There you go.
or
So
somebody
it's a follow through, it's kind of a follow through technique.
or somebody
That's
like
great
from
change.
behind you, you can touch.
yeah, you could also strike
You
with
also
the
got
elbow.
Right,
like
okay.
that.
I'm just purposely asking words
Yeah.
that are, you know, that are, you know, not obviously, you know.
Right, some very
Yeah.
clear, some not obviously. Yeah.
Part of the wild horse's
Yeah.
mane.
So part of horse's mane, we did a little bit of that
We did look at
yesterday.
that to
But-
understand the U-boot.
Which one did you do?
You
Shoulder
both.
strike?
You both.
Yeah, shoulder strike,
She
cross
also did the
body.
slanting flying. She did both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You just understand.
Wu style does that shoulder stroke, which no one else does.
Yes.
Right.
But everybody also does punch.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the same thing also. Or one that rarely do people do, but actually my favorite.
From
Oh.
the back.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I never thought of that. Coming across, chopping the neck.
Yeah.
Just bring the arm down lower.
Forearm right in the carotid artery.
So, now we were discussing yesterday the difference between oblique flying and part of horse's mane.
Same applications.
Same applications.
One's a little longer, one's a little shorter.
Yeah, that's what I said.
But the
Yeah.
same
That's what I said.
applications.
And I also said if it's a shoulder strike, if you punch, you're inside.
Yes.
So immediately
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
close.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about it,
yeah.
Yeah.
You close the distance.
Yeah, that shows up right in the Wu style diagonal push hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Wow.
Look at this.
I have just dragged somebody around this way, and I come up and he punches it. He gets to. That's what it is. Okay, I guess I should go beat up the box.